Ever wonder what's on the edge of some of the Neverwinter maps? Don't worry, I took some time to run around on the edge of all the Neverwinter maps to find some things for you guys. I'm going to start off in the guild stronghold, in the back ends of a forest where a river meets a waterfall. And on the other side, it seems like there's grass, trees, but on the left, there's a pathway. And the border is ahead of me. I can't go across this river, but you can see there is a bridge right there that leads past the border, and there's a little city out there. That bridge is heavily fortified, and here's my theory, and so is this little log. It's heavily fortified as well. No one's getting in, no one's getting out. And I think it's like that because maybe these pathways lead to other guild strongholds, and maybe that's why they're so heavily fortified. That's the only thing that makes sense. And this is in the back ends of the Dragon Hills, and you can see there's like windmills and stuff back there. You'll see in a minute. So it's like interesting to think of what's back there, you guys. Let me know what you think. And look at this, there's even functioning windmills. So I think it might lead to a guild stronghold, dude. That's crazy. Pretty cool though. Interesting theory as well, but that's all I found in the stronghold. And to Icepire Peak I went, the frozen mountains of cold. And this place in particular, many of you probably have seen this little spot, but I found it while I was going around the edges of the map, and it comes to this drop off over here, and then it leads to this beautiful view into this massive frozen statue into the mountain, which I loved. I didn't know this was here at first. Maybe I have, but I found it while trying to make this video, so I thought this was awesome, and I wanted to include it. It's a notable mention, so we shall mention it in the videos. You guys should definitely do this, because you'll find some things maybe you never knew you would find. Here's another perspective of the statue from further away at spawn, so pretty cool what that looks like when from where I was. But as there were only high hills and Icepire Peak, I went to Neverdeath Graveyard, exploring the edges of the entire map. But before I showed you what I found, I just wanted to say I love when they put stuff way up on like mountains on top of the map. It makes me think there's like a world outside of where my character is, or like this is the edge of the map and that pathway I can't get there. And it makes me think there's like just another world and I want to get to it, but I can't. And this is what I wanted to show you guys in the back ends of Neverdeath Graveyard. There is this little area you can climb on the scaffolding, and right back there you can see there's like an entire castle. And it's fun to make theories about stuff like this that's like outside of the map that like you rarely find in this game too. It's kind of hard to run by things like this on Neverwinter especially. But you can see there's like walls down there, stairs, there's an entire castle. You can jump on these scaffolding to get like an entirely better look at it. And it makes you wonder like maybe it's just a piece of scenery outside of the map, or maybe there's some like hidden lore at this, massive castle that you found in the back ends of, Neverdeath Graveyard. You don't really know. So that's why it's cool, come to these monuments and discover them by yourself, and to see that maybe there's some hidden lore behind. You never truly know the lore behind these areas and monuments that you find. I saw another YouTuber that made videos like this, and he was like, I wish other YouTubers would do this. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it on Neverwinter. You can see there's towers and citadels off into the far distance. And I tell you guys, I recommend you to come and do this type of stuff. It's so fun. And I did it alone. But I went to the Chasms, because there was another place like an Icepire Peak that was a drop-off that led into a beautiful scenery. Most of you maybe have already seen this, because, you've played Neverwinter before, I assume. But this is absolutely beautiful when you come to this drop-off in the Chasms, and there's a lot of details and things that make you wonder of why it's there. You can see there's like a bunch of broken down, ruined towers and mountains that have fallen apart. It's just a bunch of chaotic stuff that happened here at one point in time, and it makes you wonder the lore behind the chasm. You can see there's like literally maybe there was this massive fortress here at one time, because going up this entire massive mountain, you can see there's bridges way at the top that are ruined. So what's the lore behind these massive bridges that have been exploded at the top of the chasms? Interesting though. I wonder. It makes me want to go and like look up all the lore behind all these places, and they're everywhere. You can see whatever castle used to be here was completely obliterated by this massive, explosion here of whatever it was. So yeah, but while discovering that area, I also, when looking at the edges of the map, found a chest. So I was like, oh, okay, so Neverwinter hides things. And this wouldn't be the first time I found something like this while going through the back ends of the map on Neverwinter, because later on I would find another chest. But I went into the Undermountain, and I went into the lava fields, and I liked how they put little buildings outside of the map. They had this massive lava waterfall that was really cool on the edge of the Undermountain. There wasn't much down here because they have a lot of excuses on what to do when it comes to putting stuff as the border of the map on, underground areas. But you can see when I venture through the Undermountain near some of the edges of the map, and I found this area, and it was like corrosive water. And I found this to be interesting because they utilized the border of the map. It wasn't just some mountain or whatever like they usually do, or just some black abyss. It was something they actually utilized and put time into, and this was stuff that I would only find when I would go and look at the edges of the map. And I'm sure many of you know this spot, but right past the stone railways is a little area beyond the borders of the map that you cannot go to ever. There's a little waterfall in the darkness and a creature that's just sitting there menacingly. And it makes you wonder what's beyond those railings, what's over there in the darkness in that waterfall. Maybe there's a cave, who knows what's in the darkness back there. There's nothing for all of you that's wondering. And I know many of you have played through the Mantle Neverdeath chapters. This is during chapter 9. There's an area I don't think you can go back to after you complete it. So I knew I had to include this because this was a little area in the game that you were not able to go back to, and I was right in this right here where I was standing was basically the border, and back there I could not get there. But I thought this was so cool. Like, it makes me wonder what's over there in that city. That must be a massive city. It's bigger than Protective's Enclave. Like, what is that down there? It makes you want to go down there and see and explore the city down there. Maybe there's a whole bustling bunch of life down there that you don't even know about. And this is what I mean by maybe there's life outside of the game that maybe we don't even know about. No, I'm just kidding. Don't worry. I'm not that crazy. But I thought this was very beautiful when looking at this. I was like, man, that is just so cool. I even tried to jump down to get closer, to get like a better view of it because I wanted to see it really. And I was like, that is so cool. It's like a massive blue light in this enormous city. This was just beautiful, guys. This is chapter 9 of the Mantle Neverdeath chapters. And of course, Araz Tower. I'm going to include this because it's like, this is outside of the map. You cannot go back there. That tower is outside of the map, and I wish I could go to that tower and climb inside. There's something important in there, I swear to God. So we're going to include this as the edges of the map. But to the still waters of the drowned shore, and to the back ends of these waters would you find a few crashed ships, and I feel like this is worthy of exploring and taking a look at. It makes you wonder what happened to the ships, why are they here in the first place, were these seas higher at one point? I love looking off into the distance in some of these lands in Neverwinter and exploring what's there, and that's why I wanted to make a video on it, because I feel like it's such an interesting topic just to look off into the distance into some of these games and wonder why are some of these things there. It really makes you want to explore the lore and get into the depths of this game. That's why I love this. It's really enjoyable just to go around and explore. It makes you feel like you're on this little journey, and it's cool. Reclamation Rock didn't really have anything that piqued my interest too much. I did come across this strange statue, which I don't remember too much, but it was on the edge of the map, so we're counting it in. And while journeying through the borders of the map, I found this, a waterfall pouring down into a massive statue of a warrior. I thought this was very interesting. I had never seen this, so I was like, this is, cool. And this is why I like exploring like the edges of these maps, because you'll find things that you never even knew that were there, like little pieces of art or monuments, and it's interesting to explore them. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I didn't even know this was here. And I was like, yes, another monument discovered. And we won't even go over Spinward Rise. It's just sky, clouds, and rocks. Let's move on. Let's view the edge of Protective's Enclave. And the best way to do that is to come to Moonstone Mass, jump on these rocks, and you can really see how big Protective's Enclave actually is. I never noticed how massive this place was. You can even see at the bottom of Moonstone Mass, there are ruined walls down there, making me think maybe they had a dock down there, or the city was even bigger at one point in time. Who knows? But there's a bunch of ruins all around this place, like ruined towers all along the water and stuff. So it's interesting. There's a lot of fog right there, so I couldn't see what was down there, but you can even see in Protective's Enclave, there's like massive broken down bridges and stuff, so it's like, interesting. A lot of the city is actually broken down and like ruined. If you really pay attention and you come up here in Moonstone Mass, you'll see a lot of the stuff is actually like in ruins or been destroyed. So interesting. I wonder what happened to Protective's Enclave. Not really done too much extensive research to understand what happened to Protective's Enclave when it comes to the lore, but looks like something crazy. You can see another ruined tower down there. So what happened to Protective's Enclave? I'm pretty sure many people know by now, of course, but yeah, once you get over there you can't get back down. So we die and we get a better view at the bottom for like a split second. And I don't know why I was so intrigued by looking off into the outer borders of Neverwinter, but I just found it so intriguing. And here's when I found the other chest, when I was looking around the Tower District, on the borders of the Tower District, and it wasn't much, it's just giant mountains and stuff. It was very boring, but I came across this hidden pathway that led straight up into a mountain, and it was a hidden little pathway. I had no idea this was over here, so it was kind of cool how I would randomly run into these secret little pathways that would lead me to these little, hidden stashes in the mountainsides or wherever it would be in the map. But I go over here and it would lead into another pathway into the mountain that would go higher up. and this is where I would find the chest. So pretty cool. I loved that I would find little things like this when I would go searching on the borders of all these maps on Neverwinter. It was really cool. I loved that about this. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that will bring us to the end of today's video. And if you enjoyed, let me know. Let me know what you think about the guild stronghold theory as well. Do these pathways lead to other guild strongholds? I just think that's so interesting to think about. They are heavily fortified. Why are they so heavily fortified? Let me know what you guys think about that theory. It's deep in the Dragon Hills. Come way down here by this river, and you'll see, you can come down here and you can see the town yourself easier if you come down here and you take a look at it yourself. You'll be able to kind of explore the theory a little bit more yourself if you guys want to come down here in the Dragon Hills. But yeah, anyways, my next video will be a little bit more about the newer content. I'll try to delve into that stuff a little bit more with you guys. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you in a part 2 of this. I'll definitely be back with a part 2 of this. There's just a lot of stuff to explore, and I gotta find interesting stuff to explore. So I will be back with that, you guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, and stay safe with the lens of Neverwinter.